What's up guys, Howndish here, and today I wanted to jump in with a bunch of Destiny 2 Forsaken stuff to talk about. So in this video we're going to talk about a mystery enemy. This is an enemy that we haven't met yet in the game, but one that is going to play a somewhat significant part in the evolution of Dreaming City and providing access to new content, so we'll talk about that. I also wanted to talk about an area which is going to feature as part of an exotic quest, which is pretty interesting. There are more secrets to talk about in Dreaming City. Then we're going to talk about some issues, some information about powerful drops, a new Gambit trial that's coming out, as well as some new Bungie rewards, and a bunch of other pretty interesting stuff to talk about, guys. So if you do find this video enjoyable, a like below is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit subscribe, but for now, let's get straight into it. So of course, in the game, over time, we've continued to discover new content, and we know that more stuff awaits us. We've got more exotic quests, new objectives and modes in the Dreaming City, and this is where I wanted to talk about a character right here. So back in the Dreaming City trailer, we did see a few frames right here which show 3 knights, and behind the knights we've got a very mysterious, what looks like some kind of enemy obviously, with this red cloak and these 2 horns. So who on earth is this enemy? Well, you may remember I spoke about some upcoming purification ritual bounties that actually require us to go into a dungeon called the Shattered Throne. There's one to complete the dungeon Shattered Throne while wearing a full set of Reverie Dawn gear, and there is another to defeat Vorgoth, the boundless hunger in the dungeon Shattered Throne while ascending. We've got some lore there. Ahamkara magic is shaped by desire. You must embrace what you wish to dispel. And so my bet right here would be that this is Vorgoth that we're seeing. We don't know exactly who this character is or what they're responsible for, how they fit into the Hive or the story in general, but it definitely appears that this is going to be a pretty interesting one and will almost certainly be tied to some pretty cool content and rewards. That is just speculation. Either way, this is a character that we will ultimately run into, and it's possible that we could get access to this content with the upcoming weekly reset, because supposedly the Dreaming City is on a 3-week cycle. After the raid was completed, I believe this is when that cycle actually began. So we had the Broken Courier mission which came up, and then on this week's reset we had the Oracle engine. These are some of the new quest missions. And next we're going to get the Dark Monastery, so it makes sense that that is on the 3rd week. And once Dark Monastery is completed, it appears that there is another quest step, but this one just has a bunch of question marks in the database. So I think we'll get access to Dark Monastery. I think we'll be in week 3 of the Dreaming City after next week's reset. And that will also mean that the curse is going to strengthen once again, so this will affect the Blind Well, and could also give us access to Queen's Court, Morosov's Ascendant Realm, and some of that stuff which we've spoken about in the past. So that's pretty cool, and I'd be curious to hear your speculation about the character that we've spoken about. Next though, I wanted to talk about an area in the game which is hidden away, but appears to be linked to an upcoming exotic quest. So we've spoken about the Wish Ender. This is 100% going to be a quest weapon, even the database can tell us that. I spoke about the character Zeraido, who is the first member of Queen's Wrath, and also the owner of the Wish Ender. During the quest, we will have to collect tokens from a bunch of enemies. So you can see some of these here. These are sworn enemies of Zeraido. Zeraido is a character known to have disappeared, and right here we get this spoiler alert. So if you don't want to know any of the story, any of the potential content that will be linked to Wish Ender, then obviously skip ahead in the video. But a couple of folks had messaged me, and this gameplay comes from Flory right here. There is actually an area in the Tangled Shore called Zer's Rest, so it's obviously an area associated with the character that owned the Wish Ender bow. Like I said, this is in the Tangled Shore. With it being linked to this character, it seems pretty likely that at some point during the quest, or during the story element of the quest, we will actually end up in this location. I think that's really, really cool. Once again, this has potential to be linked to that 3-week cycle, and with Dark Monastery and the other quest content we're likely to get after next week's reset, we're definitely getting closer to Wish Ender, or the quest for it, actually beginning, which is really exciting. So once again, let me know your thoughts or speculation on any of that. Next though, I wanted to briefly mention some stuff about Prince Aldrin. This is just a random curiosity really, but in various concept images and pre-release images where we saw Prince Aldrin, we did see him with this sword-off shotgun. Both an early concept showed the character holding the weapon, and we saw various images with him actually having the weapon stowed on his back. Even these renders right here actually show Aldrin with the shotgun, and these are kind of in-game renders. And obviously these come from Bungie, but the funny thing is, in the game itself, we never actually saw Aldrin with the sword-off shotgun. So I just find that pretty interesting, maybe a piece of content that was cut out later on at some point. Often when we've seen characters, especially enemies that we're actually likely to take down at some point, point, whenever they have a unique weapon or something like that, it has often been the case that we've actually been able to access it. Polaris Lance would be a good example of that. So I wonder why Bungie took it away. I was really excited that we might get an exotic sword off or something like that. Of course, there's potential that we could get it in the future or something, but it kind of feels like that moment has probably passed considering that we've killed Aldrin already. However, I suppose you never know. Now, with all this serious speculation and breaking down future content and things like that, let's remember that Destiny can also be kind of funny. Cat Lavender posted a video right here. So Sadia in the rear Sylvia area is actually affected by the physics of Guardians. So you can see right here that they're able to just kind of slide her off the map, which is pretty amusing. And this is in the middle of some dialogue when she's actually talking. So I'm guessing that's a thing that you can do in any instance. If you get bored, you could always go and try and push Sadia off the map. Although I think, to be honest, these tech-ins have been through enough recently. I spoke about Dreaming City Ascendant chests. There are a new series of chests for the Strengthened Curse. So there was a week 1 set when the curse was weak. Now we have the Strengthened Curse set. I'll link a video down below if you want a guide to where all of those chests are located. But Steven on Reddit actually pointed something pretty interesting out. The game gives you a hint to where these chests are located with these rainbows in the sky. So when you see one of these rainbows, that actually means it's in proximity to one of the chests. So you can see them from a bit more of a distance, and then obviously when you get close, the chests or the platforms will appear. So I just thought that was an interesting shout if you wanted to go hunting on your own for a bit. Rise of Bacon over on Reddit actually posted a really useful guide for any of you guys still hunting escalation protocol weapons. He basically posted a full list, a schedule of which weapons are going to drop on particular weeks all the way up until the end of the year. So I'll link that one down below as well if you're still hunting any EP weapons. Next though, some technical stuff. Bungie Help tweeted, "We've been investigating the issue causing powerful engrams to sometimes drop below appropriate power levels. We're currently working on a fix, and stay tuned for updates." So I have heard a few people say this as well, that they're getting powerful drops that are dropping way below what they should be. I think it is possible to get a little bit unlucky and get something that's kind of not that useful in terms of a power upgrade, but also occasionally you do have bugs and things like this. So I just wanted to let you guys know that Bungie are aware, and I'll keep you posted if they give us any further details. Up next, this possibly isn't super relevant because I'm pretty sure most of you are playing Forsaken, but if you don't have the expansion and you fancy some Gambit, this weekend you can actually jump in. So September 21st up until 23rd, there will be a Gambit free trial weekend. So that is starting when Xur arrives on the daily reset, 10 AM PST, 6 PM in the UK, on Friday 21st. There should be plenty of people playing Gambit that weekend, I suppose. Final thing I wanted to point out, Bungie have now added a Luna's Howl scale replica. So it's actually a quarter of the size of Luna's Howl, and this is available to purchase if you own the Luna's Howl in-game. So if you manage to complete the quest for Luna's Howl, which is a pretty cool weapon by the way, you'll get a code for the discount for this. I believe it's $54.99 to actually buy the replica. So if you really want one of those, I suppose you better get grinding. I think Luna's Howl is definitely going to be one of the next things that I'm going after. Now though, I wanted to talk about some of my character progress inside of Forsaken. It is something I get a few questions about from time to time, so this is my character right here. I'm just shy of 560, I believe. I've got a little bit of infusion to do. I don't have any new exotic armor pieces on the Titan right here, so I've mostly honestly been sticking with the Lion Rampant because I'm using this Striker and the new Sunbreaker quite a bit. I do actually need to upgrade the Sentinel fully, the new Sentinel subclass. Of course, that one is pretty awesome. And I'm mostly just going with Reverie Dawn gear at the moment with the Transcendent Blessing mods. I do want to look for a set that is not so high with the mobility right here. I don't tend to run mobility on my Titan, but I finally got a couple of decent raid weapon drops right here. I got the Shattering Bone, the Pulse Rifle. This one came with High Cow, Outlaw. It's got Rampage as well, so it's a pretty decent pulse rifle, really nice in PvE. I think it could be pretty good in PvP as well. I've heard very good things about Shattering Bone in general, so super glad to have picked this one up. I also got the age-old Bond. This is the Raid Auto. It's a pretty bizarre one because it's 360 rounds per minute, so it's super slow firing. It's got Ambitious Assassin and Dynamic Sway Reduction, as well as Extended Mag and Alloy Magazine. Something I may play around with a little bit. I'm kind of trying to decide whether to infuse this into other stuff. Mostly in terms of power weapons in the raid and that, I've been using Whisper of the Worm and the Sleeper Simulant. Need to get that Whisper infused just a little bit. Haven't had too many God Roll legendaries really. This is an okay rocket launcher right here. I went with this one because of course it's kind of similar to Curtain Call and Sins of the Past, but I can put boss spec on this one, so that's nice. And obviously 10,000 different rolls of the Edge Transit, the most common drop inside of Forsaken. Maybe I should do a top 5 Edge Transit God rolls or something just for giggles. I was also pretty happy to get this one. It's pretty interesting. Tech Enforce with Kill Clip and High Impact Reserve, so it's somewhat similar to Praetorian Foil from Destiny 1, which had Reactive Reload and Glass Half Full. So these are basically the new versions of those bonuses. I don't know how useful or excellent this will really be, but I found the role pretty interesting nonetheless. And yeah, otherwise, like I said, I've got a lot of infusion to do, a lot of god roll hunting to do. I haven't been really keeping my eye on too many weapons that I've got. I would definitely say this Shattering Bone is one of the best. Also, this Go Figure is pretty decent. It's got Zen Moment and Kill Clip, but I really want to look for a counterbalance mod. I've actually missed that if it's come up, or I just haven't been lucky and got one yet. Because this is a really good pulse rifle, but the recoil is kind of severe on console. I did get a decent Hazard of the Cast. This is the Gambit auto, so it's got High Impact Reserve, so it does do more damage as the mag goes down. It's got Zen Moment as well, so the stability is pretty nice. You've also got armor piercing rounds and ricochet rounds, and I got the ornament for this one too, which is a pretty cool kind of Tex Mechanica-y style ornament, I guess. So that's the bulk of my character progress. I could be a much higher level, but right now, because I'm working full-time making content about Forsaken, obviously I'm not grinding out second characters and things like that, so I am a bit behind my maximum potential. But honestly, raid runs, man, raids give you insane drops. 563, 565 right here on some of these weapons. And this was on a run that we did just yesterday, so they're giving me around about 10 power on what I've currently got, which is pretty nice stuff. For now though, guys, that is going to summarize today's video. So as always, we've had plenty of really cool stuff to talk about. I'd love to hear your speculation on what's going to happen next week with Dreaming City. The enemy we saw in the trailer, potentially that is Vorgoth. Really can't wait to see what's going on with all this stuff. We'll find our way to the Wish and the Bow, and who knows what other quests and secrets await us in Dreaming City. So let me know your thoughts, guys. If you have enjoyed the video, a rating below is very much appreciated. If you're new around here, be sure to hit subscribe if you want to see more content. I cover everything related to Destiny 2 right here on the channel. For now, I appreciate you tuning in, and whatever you guys get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.